Hey nerds, Todd Simmons coming back at you with a little more Toddomation. All right, well now we're to the fun part. We're actually going to start the lab and see if everything we've done so far works. So at this point, we're at the same spot that we were before. We're in our Arista directory. As we can see, our orb is still connected. We can double check that by CLab version. Okay, so we have our ContainerLab here. The shows us that we're active. We're still in the system. We're ready to go. We just make sure that our Docker images are still there, so we can do Docker images and we're there. And last thing, let's just make sure we're in the right directory, right? So if we do a PWD, now PWD is a little ridiculous at this point because it's showing us our current directory. But now we want to do an ls -al, and we want to make sure we see this topo clab.yaml. We're in that correct directory. If not, we have to specify the directory. So let's clear this out. Okay. And I'm going to just bring this up a little bit. Okay. Give us a little room to work with. So with everything on the ContainerLab, it always begins with the term clab. That's the executable. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a deploy. Okay. And then we just specify the topo. And because we were in that directory, I can just type topo or top or part of it and then hit the tab. So when I hit the enter key, it's going to start building the lab. Now, it does take a little while depending on how much memory you have. Okay. And there it goes. So the one part that I really want to identify is this right here. This node DC1 border leaf is being delayed for 10 seconds. Notice it then just started back up here. So 10 seconds later, it started to deploy them. If you have enough memory, you can deploy them all at once. Now, I allocated 32 gigs of RAM to this, which is plenty of memory for the 10 devices that I'm going to run. But if you don't have that much memory, that's where the delay time is going to help you. So for the first device, which is border leaf 1, you would maybe say, just make the delay. You can leave it at 10. It doesn't really matter. It's going to start. And then say, put the next device in your topology. And it's going to go, when it runs this, based on these nodes. It started with border leaf 1. Then it's going to go to spine 1. It's just a YAML file. It's going to read that YAML file going down. So maybe for this spine, instead of setting it to 0, right, you set it to 60 seconds. And then for DC spine 2, you set it for 90 seconds. That way, 2 devices aren't running at the same time. Now, because I did have enough RAM, look, I'm done. You can see that it brought up 10 devices. It all shows the actual device name here. Okay, the kind and image, which we only have one image at this particular point that we're using for kind. The state is running. The IPv4 or v6 address, I only specified the IPv4 addresses, but these were the management interfaces for those devices. And there they are. That's it. You're now running. Okay. I am just going to show you a couple other commands. If you did come back, if you've already created the lab, this lab is now created. If you come back and you say deploy, it's going to say, hey, there's already a lab there. So if there's a lab, you would actually use the CLab. And I'm just going to show you the CLab. You would use the redeploy topo if you've already created it. Now, if you want to start from scratch and you don't want to do anything with that lab, you want to redo the init configs or something like that to where you want to start from the very, very beginning, then you would use the destroy. So CLab, destroy, topo.clab.yaml file. It would destroy the lab and then it would start it back up again. That's what you want to do when you have the init configs and you're changing your init configs and you want it to start up from scratch that way. There is no shutdown command. There's no reboot command that's going to work here. So you would actually just delete it using the destroy, and then that removes everything. It deletes all of those image files because it's actually created a Docker image for every single one of those devices on the system now. And we can see that here. So redeploy after you've done the deploy. Or if you want to delete the entire lab, you would do the clab destroy topo.clab.yaml file. That would delete everything on there for you. So I'm going to show you that just real fast because I do think it is important. So we do the clab destroy topo, and there it goes. It's removed all of the containers. We still have the Docker images there, but it doesn't have the container labs themselves set up. So that's this lab. We deployed it. I showed you how to redeploy it, and then I showed you how to destroy it. The next lab, I'm going to show you how to access your devices. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You're going to get to choose how you do it, but I'm going to show you two different ways. One, directly on the device or with the device, and then using an SSH client. I'm going to show you via Secure CRT because that's the one that I prefer. So if you had any questions starting your lab, if there was an error with your topology file, it would have popped up here. So if you're constantly getting errors and you can't get them to fix, you know what? Drop me a comment. Tell me what's going on, and I bet I can get it fixed for you. Anyway, talk to y'all later, nerds. Bye.